Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. With Easter and spring only around the corner, thankfully, I have for you today this little project which is designed to look like a little basket, or an Easter basket in this case, which could hold lots of chocolate eggs. I've reinforced the bottom of it so that it can hold quite a bit of weight. It measures 4 by 4. It's very simple to make. It doesn't take a whole lot of materials either. And if you would like to learn how to make this little basket, stick with me and I'll show you how. Just going to fold and burnish these score lines. You could cut first if you like, or you can burnish the score lines first and then cut. It really is a personal choice. Let's get these all done and then we'll go on to the cutting. Cutting, you want to remove the square at the corner and this rectangle here. So you leave this one intact. I'm going to do the same on this corner, on this one, and on this one. Cut away those score lines, and that means I'm going to cut slightly to the outside there. So on this one it would be to the left, and I'm going to cut up to there and to there. Okay. And on this side I'll cut slightly to the right, and if I miss any of that score line I can always go in later and tidy it up. I'm going to cut that away and that away, and then on the other two corners now. Now with the tabs here to the left and right, we're going to cut up these score lines here. This one here, going all the way to the bottom, this one, and then on the other side as well. And while we're at it, we're also going to take a tiny little wedge out of the outer boxes so that when you fold in the sides they are going to protrude. So this box here will be completely intact, so there won't be anything cut off of this. So what we do is we're going to come up score line and take just a little tiny wedge, and at the same time that's going to remove that little score line as well. So, you see there, just a little bit. Do the same on this side. So up the score line and only wedging from the outer piece. So just fold that a little bit. And just a small little wedge. Okay. And do the same on the opposite side. Should look something similar to this. Now for these sides here, you want to actually fold back that tab there. So fold it out to the outer side. Get that out of our way, because what we're going to do is apply glue these sides here and attach them inside. So like that. Okay, so let's take our glue. I'm going to use this art glitter glue today. It's a very quick grabbing glue, but gives us just enough time to do any adjustments if we need to. So we just ignore those score lines there, don't worry about those, they're going to get folded in on the inside. I'll glue down there. And actually I can go ahead and glue this side as well. And then I will fold them in. Now they're going to come in like so to each other. You want to match up these corners here so that you have a nice straight corner, a nice right angle. You see there? You can actually run your finger along there to see that nothing is protruding. You can take your bone folder and also rub along there and then go inside and really give it a nice press so that that's nice and secure. And then we're going to do the other side exactly the same. Is the basket box, the basics of it all done. So I'm going to set this aside to dry for a moment and then go on to the side decoration. Now for that I've got 6 pieces that have been cut at 1 inch by 11 inches, and on each of these I'm going to put them in the scoreboard and score them at 3.5 inches on either side. So 3.5 inches on this side, and then just flip it and score it again. It's much easier just to do it this way than try to remember 3.5 inches now from there. So do that on all 6 of these. Again, 3.5, turn it and score it again at 3.5. Now I can go ahead and score these, and there will be 3 on each side, and by that I mean on the bottom half of the box, which I'll show you in just a moment. So let's get these first 3 scored, and I'll show you how they'll be placed. They are going to go around the bottom of the box here, so they will actually just fit just like that. And you want to make sure that you've got it flush with each end. So you'll have one there, you'll have one here, and you'll have one in the middle, okay, in the center. Just kind of eyeball it to see that it's in the center there. Okay. Now, as you can see, this is double-sided paper or card. It works best with that because you can see the underside. But of course, you could use just single-sided if you wanted, or if you're printing out your own papers, you could print them so that they come out with pattern on either side. So going to get these glued into place now. So as I said, be sure that it is flush to the end. Now that that's done, I'm going to turn it over. I'm just going to use my bone folder to go in there and press those strips that are under there so that that glue spreads out a bit more and takes hold. Now we're going to do the same but in the other direction with these pieces. So they are going to be folded, burnished, and then placed like that. Okay. Now, if you're not very confident about, centering this, you could, if you wanted to, measure it and put a small pencil mark there. It's all up to you, but really it doesn't have to be absolutely precise. I'm going to glue these in place now, the same as I did on the other side. So, there we have the weaves attached, and if you wanted to, you could put another piece of cardstock on the bottom, just cut it 4 by 4, or if you don't mind, just the weave, just as it is, you can leave it. So, for example, if you were going to give this as a gift and you wanted to leave a little note, that would be some place that you could do that. The other thing I'm going to do is, and of course it depends on the weight of the cardstock, but just to give this a little extra strength, as the card on the bottom would also do, I've taken a piece of the same cardstock I used here, and what I've done is just mounted on a piece of cardstock which I've cut just slightly under 4 by 4. And I should have checked it first, actually, to see if it's going to fit. I'm going to try this anyway. Oh yes, it's going to be fine. So, there we are. So, that will just give that a little extra strength. So, if you want to put something a little heavier than maybe some chocolate eggs or whatever you're going to put in here, it could handle it a little better. Okay. There. Now, the next thing is to attach these. Now, what you do with these is you bend them slightly. So you don't, as you can see, there's perhaps about 1/4 of an inch beyond this score line. So, up to this score line is where you want to attach the top bit. So when you put that there, you'll have just a slight little bend here. Okay, you don't have to use a bone fold or anything there. Just attach it so that that little bit is to the top, and it will bend. So we'll just put a little bit of glue there. You could use tape if you wanted to. And actually just going to fold that back to get it in place. You can remove any excess. So there we have the first piece. And then you're going to repeat with all of the others as well. So coming up to the last of these, applying the glue, and as you can see, it's now still flush to the edge, but only up to the score mark there, giving that sort of natural bend in the weave. So you can also go round now. Is to take these tabs here, and we're going to apply our adhesive. I'm going to use the glue again, and as I said, you could just use tape if you wanted to. We're going to apply that there, and again press that down so that you have captured all of these side pieces under this tab here. And you're going to do it on all 3 sides, or the remaining 3 sides, I should say. Handle for the basket, I've got another piece of the cardstock which has been cut to the same size, 11 inches by 1 inch, so the same size as on the weave. In this case, what I've done is I had a little spare bit, which what I've done is cut too many for the sides, and I'd already scored it, so I've just glued it to the underside of this other piece just to make it that little bit stronger. And of course that's going to depend on, you know, the weight of your cardstock or what you're going to be putting in your basket. If you need to do that, it's purely optional, but I'm going to place that inside. And if you like, you could just glue this in and attach it that way, or in my case, I'm going to put these little brads in. These are little flat top brads, which I'm going to attach. Or you could, you know, put a hole and maybe tie some ribbon, you know, whatever you like. It's all up to you. So I'm going to make a hole using, I've got my crocodile, or you could use a little punch or a, you know, a pokey tool, something like that. Now I can fit my and I'm going to make holes again, only this time I'm going to take it back a little bit, have it come in a bit further, and that should be good. So cut holes on either side with this. And then we can put our brads through. And we'll spread that split pin. Like so. Okay, and on this side as well. There is the handle assembled and the box complete. And of course now it's time to decorate. Decorate these sides here. I've got just a couple of little strips. They're slightly shorter than the 4 inches, so I'm going to put those on either side. You can see if you use brads, it does give you that little option to move it so that whatever you want to fit in here, you can do so a little easier than if it were glued solidly in place. But again, it's up to you. So now take some baker's twine. I've got a couple of pieces here and they're about 16 inches, and I'm just going to twist it a little bit, and then I'm going to tie it into a bow. I'll start here on the side so that I can grip it a little bit better. Not too tight so that I can still push it up to the top. I'm going to make it quite a large bow. And then just move it up to the top of the handle and let it sort of flow down the sides here. You could, if you wanted to, glue that down, but it's just a little bit of decoration there. So there we have it. And if you wanted to put more bling on here, you could perhaps go into each of the little weave sides and put perhaps flat back pearls. But I'm going to leave mine at that. You can see it's reinforced on the bottom, so it's nice and sturdy. And like I said, you could put another piece there if you wanted to. I hope you'll agree that this was a quite easy project to do, and yet it's very sweet. It's an Easter basket in this case, or it might be. It doesn't really have to be an Easter basket. As you can see, I've put nothing on it to indicate that it would be for Easter, so that you could use it for any occasion, really. Just make it your own, and I hope you will do that. I'd like to thank you for joining me today, and if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, leave a thumbs up, a comment, and share with your friends. I can't wait to see you again next time. Until then, bye, stay safe, and crafty hugs. Bye.